Clint, I want to kind of transition through what you said about the transitional work and what we've been doing for the last, well, starting last week, this week, and then next week as well, is we're just going through the strengths, the opportunities, and the aspirations that were gathered from the church survey that was done. And again, the church survey, pardon me, is a culmination of the initial survey that we done back in March and April of 2020, along with all of the calls that the transitional team made that were just mentioned here. These were the opportunities, not that any one individual crafted, but this is the culmination of everything that you guys are seeing about our church family. Okay, first one. We believe our culture sees the need, our church culture sees the need for more of our people in ministry of our church, and this totally ties into exactly what you're talking about, Clint, so that's awesome. Second one, we see a need not to change our vision statement, but to expand it, which is great. Third one, we see an opportunity to expand our care from inside our church community to the neighborhoods we seek to reach. The fourth one, the church realizes that in being inwardly focused, we have not accomplished God's full calling. Therefore, we recognize that we need to grow spiritually and numerically. We believe these things can be addressed with someone who will take hold of the opportunity for growth and kingdom work alongside a church community that is eager and willing to follow. And we believe that we are looking at a blank slate, an opportunity to write a new narrative, not a new book necessarily, but a new chapter of our story as a church. And lastly, we see an opportunity to embrace our mission and grow our outward focus through strong biblical teaching. Clint, maybe just a thought as you hear those things, what's something that excites you about that?
I think it was your third point about helping people in their neighborhood. And so often it's part, okay, we have public schools and they do programs. We're so programmatic as a church. And so trying to think through what type of church will equip people for mission and ministry, even in their neighborhood. And what does that look like? And church people ask the question, how do we get more people to come to us? Mission-driven people ask the question, how do we get us out of our buildings, which you don't have? How do we get people out of our buildings and more into the neighborhoods? And I think our best disciple making, our best way that we show and share the love of Jesus, and I have that order very specifically, both are important, but we show and share the love of Jesus is most often not through another program that we invite people to. Most often it's for us legitimately being like Jesus in our neighborhood, serving, caring, and in a non-offensive, non-pushy, non-churchy kind of way. So that one really does excite me. But it's a bit of a mind shift for most church people who think we need to run a bunch of programs. And I'm not against them. I just think we way over program our churches rather than release our people into our neighborhoods and into our global community to make a difference. How do we equip people for mission where you work, where you work out, where you go to school, where you live? And those aren't more programs that we need to do. So that one excites me as I heard it. They all do, but that one jumped out at me. Can I make one comment on your last one? You know, there's maybe it was your second last, but just on someone that communicates scripture or preaching or teaching, whatever language we use. The danger is it can become consumeristic. And so it's always a concern, even when we get into most churches are online now. It's like, well, I can float around and find my favorite preacher. So there's a danger in that. But what I would say is, can you have your preacher think about preaching not in terms of entertainment, but in terms of equipping? What type of truth is communicated through Scripture that will empower people to use their gifts and see it grow exponentially? Is it an inspiring, equipping teaching for mission, not simply some consumeristic, let's learn more about the Bible and then actually not obey it?